When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That just might work, ayy. When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That just might work, ayy. That just might work.
Welcome back to another episode of the Michel Matters Podcast. I'm Jocks Michel.
And I'm Jackie Michelle.
Welcome back.
Hey, guys.
Hey, new episode, ready to go?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Today was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so since you're feeling so good, how about you catch your people up on the last 2 weeks?
Okay, so I don't know about the last 2 weeks, but I know this week we filed our taxes.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes. Once again, shout out to Joy.
At St. Clair Financial Services.
We've had her on, I think, more than one podcast or just one podcast?
Just one.
Yeah, just one. But it was a great episode. It's still applicable. Oh, okay. Jackie will put it in the video. Yeah. But definitely go check it out. Go check her out. And support.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was my first, we filed together. So it was my first time, though, including the business, like strictly just the business for a whole year. Yep. And it wasn't bad.
Nope. Joy did her thing.
Yeah, it wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. But it could have been.
It could have been. Definitely.
Been terrible.
Joy always comes through. And she always does this thing where she like tells us like, all right, you owe this. And I'm like, she's like, but you know, I still got to do my job.
Right.
And she always comes through. So shout out to Joy. And yeah, she got us right for tax season. Yes. Definitely went way better than what I expected.
Yeah. And then, of course, like giving you tips for next year. Yeah. To make it even smoother. So, yeah. What else? We've been taking care of ourselves lately.
I mean, I got a haircut. That's self-care for me. So if that counts.
I meant like emotionally. Oh, like, making sure.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like we've been in the house.
Yeah.
For a long time. Like this morning, we went for a walk. Yeah. And I jumped in the pool just because I just felt like. You wanted it? Yeah.
And it was cold, which I would have assumed, but
it was freezing.
You jumped in anyway.
But I did. Yeah. I just needed it. Washed my hair, all the things. And then, of course, like meditating and whatnot. So.
Yeah. I haven't done any of those things, I feel like. Okay. But, I mean, we went on the walk. Yeah. So that was a together thing. But I like those because we do get to talk and kind of catch up, get some things off our minds. We always have interesting conversations when we do that. Yes. But yeah, I don't think I've delved too far into the self-care. You're pretty consistent with stuff like that, though. I guess. Like your wash days and all that stuff. Like you be getting it in. And
then it was what?
No, go ahead.
It was funny because I mentioned to you maybe like 2 weeks ago, that we should like do a double date with your parents.
Yeah, not happening. I don't know why you thought that was a good idea.
I don't know, but we've been spending time with our parents.
We have. Like, we've been trying to get better, coming up with like a system, because if we don't, then we can go like long periods of time without visiting both consistently. That's the thing. Right. It's like making sure we spend time with both. So yeah, I think we kind of have a system down. And it's been good so far. It's only been 1 month. It's only been 1 month.
So, but we're trying to like visit each set a month. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Aside from that, we were a part of a YouTube live.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So we were on a live with Life in Haiti. Her name is Marie Sanvillis. Okay. I think. I don't know if that's her last name, but I think that is her last name. Okay. But she is going to be the next episode that you hear from our podcast. Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, well, let me get you guys on my YouTube channel." Yeah. So I think her story is really, really crazy and really interesting, and just the fact that she bounces back from what she's been through is amazing. So we were able to get on live with her, talk about what's going on with Haiti right now, and yeah, I think it was good.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend checking out her channel. Yeah. just so you can get a backstory on her, because her story really is like inspirational, crazy, entertaining. Like her YouTubes are like, she vlogs. So definitely I would recommend checking her out and check out the episode that we were a part of. So,
yeah. Other than that, what else have we been doing? Have you been watching?
We watched Coming to America.
Yeah. Coming to America.
I wish I had like great reviews.
It was okay. So I will say that it was one of those things that you just have on to have on. You know, like
I watched it to say I watched it.
Like I could have been working as we were watching it. You know, like it's not something you really have to pay attention to.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I don't know. It just wasn't like...
It just makes you want to watch the first one.
Yeah, I think that's all it did. Like, it didn't connect for me in a way like, oh, I want to get involved in this new story.
Yeah.
It was like, the story was kind of cheeks. Like,
there wasn't a story, really.
I mean, there was, because he found out he had a son. And then, like...
Yeah, and then even that story, I was just like, how did this happen? Like...
That was the thing. They forced
Make it connect for me.
And it happened so fast. Like... It was like a short period. Like he walks in to see it. I mean,
don't
you gotta watch
the
it.
Movie.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. But yeah, I don't know.
And then I was just like, are we not gonna discuss how wrong this is? How this happened? No,
bro, I don't know.
It's only wrong if it's a woman or okay.
I don't know. I like that everybody got back together. Like you pretty much saw everybody from the first movie.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
And she's still barking like a dog.
Yes, like stuff like that. I was like, okay, that made me like, I was happy to see everybody, but I wasn't happy to watch the movie. And it didn't help that that's all I heard was like bad reviews before I watched it.
I didn't. I heard mixed reviews. So I was like, okay. Like, but the thing is, we weren't in a rush to watch it. And that's how I knew. I was like, it's probably not that great. Yeah. Because typically if it's hype, like, we'll turn it on ASAP.
The thing is, I watch so many better shows on a regular basis that was like a letdown. But I watched it. It's gonna be one of those like in Black Trivia later on, like you know how like those TikToks like, have you seen Coming to America? And they're like,
yeah, but they're gonna talk about the first one.
The first one, all right.
Like when people say, have you seen Friday? They don't talk about Friday after next. They talk about Friday.
Very true. So this was a waste of watch it. Watch it for yourself. Come to your own conclusions. Yeah. And but aside from that, we did watch something that I thought was like really interesting though. Yeah.
We never really unpacked it either.
We didn't.
We talked about it, but yeah.
It was a documentary on HBO called
Fake Famous.
Fake Famous. It was like, I don't know, like I was intrigued. Like I couldn't stop watching it. Like I keep saying like, wow, that's weird.
I don't feel like you said it that much.
I do. I caught myself.
Okay.
I caught myself. But I felt like a valley girl for a second. But nah, they grabbed like 3 people. They did a casting call. You gonna do that?
You just said it. So I
can't. I don't know. That was bothering me.
They grabbed 3 people.
Yeah, they grabbed 3 people from a casting call, and they made them famous, or tried to make them famous.
Well, eventually they became Instagram popular.
Yeah.
Because of the show itself.
Oh, that's true.
So
I didn't think about that
technically, they didn't even really have to do all that because you're going to be on TV, so people are going to follow you. But the experiment, it was an experiment.
Yeah, it was a social experiment.
Yeah, and one person really did really well.
Popped off.
Really well. But then, I don't know, it just kind of opens your eyes to like bots and the way social media works. Yeah. So like when you see people with 30K followers and then they get like 10 comments, you can understand now like, oh, okay. Yeah. This is probably what's happening.
So
and I thought it was to invest in bots. That is a business that.
Yeah, you mean creating bots, not like bots. Put money in bots for our podcast.
Yeah, no, we need to create bots.
Yeah, I think the one of the best things about it though was as they went through the process of making these people quote unquote famous, like one you kind of see what these people like what someone would have to go through to be quote unquote fake famous, and but it's not something that I think most people would be willing to do. Like, you think now it's gonna bother me. You think you want to be famous, so you figure out what you got to do to be famous, and it's like, maybe it's not worth it.
Yeah. Because this one of the people, I'm not gonna say who it is, but one of the people, I guess they went to an event, and after the event was like, oh, they like at the airport was making spreadsheets of all the people they met at the event and stuff, and I don't know.
It's a lot.
Like, I just like to travel. So
it's a lot to keep up the image and to keep posting like certain types of content. You got to do a lot, or you got to be really fake. And that was like, it really got exposed in the documentary. So I recommend everyone go watch it. Fake Famous on HBO.
Famous, yeah. HBO is pretty good about shows and documentaries.
Yeah, they keep it keep it interesting. So I don't think I have anything else.
No.
You hit them with the regulars?
Yes. But I posted the like what we ordered from Red Rooster.
Yes.
And somebody mentioned that they had gone to the one in New York.
Okay.
So, but they hadn't gone to the one in Overtown yet. You guys, it's really good.
I actually went back.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I went back. Man, like, what? That did happen these last 2 weeks, I guess, since the last episode. Yeah, you went back with two of my college friends.
But one was like a high school friend.
Yeah, that's true. He's high school, then transitioned to college.
Yeah.
Which is where we kind of got close. But yeah, so we went to Red Rooster for like a happy hour type. We did eat too. It was dinner time. We sat at the bar. Once again, I didn't take any pictures of the food. We were kind of just focused on us. But it was another good meal. I would go back with us for dinner. But I stress, make a reservation. We made a reservation, and it was still like a wait.
So don't make a reservation.
No, make the reservation. Still, trust me. Okay. It's if we didn't make a reservation, we would have probably not even gotten inside. So make the reservation still.
Yeah,
that's the only recommendation because it's super busy all the time.
Yeah,
it was like 9:00 at night, and it was popping in there. So
that's crazy. All right, well, subscribe and rate us on Apple Podcasts. Send us comments on Instagram at Michel Matters and on Twitter
at Coach_JOX.
And if you want to support the podcast, you can go on our website, and there is a partnership or whatever deals that we're partnered with. I don't know, sponsored tab. And you can, get deals on your gas and all that other stuff.
You got to tell the people what deals.
Feminine products.
Audible.
Yes. Get your free book. Yeah, there's apparently Cicely Tyson's audiobook is out. Alicia Keys has an audiobook that's out.
Not reading that.
Kind of want to listen to that. But yeah, and then you can send us a voicemail at 954-652-6519.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah. Let's move on.
All right. All right. So this episode's current matter is a high value topic.
That's an interesting way to intro it.
Right? So this guy has been making a lot of waves on the interwebs.
Yes.
Lately.
The legend.
He's been on YouTube, I guess, for years now. Maybe 5 to 6 years. But he blew up over quarantine. Yeah. On Instagram.
I started seeing him a lot, I feel like a couple months ago. But we had some time a couple weeks ago. And we binged a lot of the videos. Like, we went back, and I'm still going back and finding old videos and watching it. Have we said who it is?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's very interesting content.
This intro was average at best.
It was. So we're talking about Kevin Samuels, and if you haven't heard of him, Don't. No, I'm joking. If you haven't heard of him, you can look him up on YouTube.
On YouTube and Instagram.
So he does like these live shows on YouTube, and he'll bring in different callers on Zoom where they'll ask him dating advice questions or whatever, depending on the topic. And he typically harps on two main things, I would say.
Okay.
As far as dating, because a lot of the women will call in asking for a specific, for dating advice on a specific type of man.
Yeah.
And so he likes to talk about the high value man and the high value woman. And a lot of the times the calls kind of turn into roast sessions. But he's really not trying to roast them. He's just
he is. Let's be clear.
I mean, yeah, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? So for the views, you have to.
Yes.
But at the same time, some of the things he's saying is like...
gems.
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, that can't be it.
Yeah, correct.
Like, that's not what dating is all about.
Yeah,
or being somebody's partner.
Yeah, my two issues with him are like his delivery. I feel like
the delivery,
you could work on how you talk to people, especially women, especially black women at that. I feel like he could do a much better job with that. And then, yeah, the standards that he sets for other people, I feel like are not universal. But I do think there are some like basic truths to what he says. Yeah. So it's always like I disagree, but I kind of agree at the same time.
You get what he's saying.
Yeah, I feel conflicted. Like I wouldn't say it like that, but sometimes he's onto something. Like
points have been made.
Some people need to hear raw truth like that, and I'm assuming if you're a woman who still watches that show and still calls in, you value that type of rawness.
Okay.
But if not, I don't know. I just don't know why these people do it to themselves.
I don't either. And there's some men that call in too. He doesn't really take those calls as often.
But when he does, he obliterates the guys. Like I know a lot of his viral clips have been about, the year average at best, and telling women they're gonna die alone. But the things that he tells guys, at least in some of the shows that I've seen, he leans in heavy on the guys, and I think he talks way harsher to the guys.
Maybe, but it's not as often.
Yeah, no.
So the women get it the most.
Yeah, which I have issue with, but I feel like it's a point of view that we don't get as much, at least not in that way, because like, yes, guys on social media or whatever, they be in women's business, but like, these are people who come to him for his opinion. Like, you asked for my opinion and he gives it, and we don't really get that. We usually get men's unsolicited opinions. This is a man's solicited opinion that I don't know why they solicit, but
yeah. And outside of YouTube, he claims to be an image consultant.
Yeah.
In Atlanta. So a lot of his opinions are based on outward things. Outward appearance, material things, sometimes. Stuff like that. So, what is a high value man and woman, right?
Mm-hmm. As per Kevin Samuels. Yeah.
So he's saying that value is determined by the marketplace.
Okay, I agree with that. I'm going to give you my live reaction. So I do agree with that.
Okay. So basically, you can have a car that in your mind you want to sell for $10,000.
Correct.
But if Kelly Blue Book says it's $4,000, you're not getting $10,000 for it.
Yeah, and just because Kelly Blue Book says it's $4,000, if no one wants to give you more than $3,000,
that's the market.
You don't have a $4,000 car anymore.
And you say all the time, like, what does the market say?
Yeah, I think that would
everything. That's your job. Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. So, couple things that are like foundational for him that he says a high value man makes at least $10,000 a month.
Is that before tax or after tax?
And that's in Atlanta dollars.
Okay.
So at least like six figures.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not just I scrape past 6 figures. 120 is a decent amount of money to me.
Yeah. But he's saying if you're in San Francisco, LA, New York, adjust accordingly. This is crazy. I mean, adjust accordingly. Okay. Another thing that a high value man has is group acceptance by other high value men.
Okay. Right? Alphas, no alphas. Yeah.
Okay. Which I'm glad you said that because that leads into a whole nother conversation that I didn't even know was a thing until like 2 weeks ago when you told me.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Okay, so then also their network is gonna, prove that they're in this high value man society.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And a high value man is useful for something. Again, these are not my opinions. These are the opinions.
What is he? I mean, I know you don't know for sure, but what does he mean by useful?
I'm guessing like, he's able to provide help to other people. Maybe he's able to, like you can go to him for something to get done.
Yeah. I got you. To have some type of status.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, some clout. I guess that would be the way to put it.
Gotcha.
He's got clout.
Yeah. So when you hear these things, these sound like great things,
I guess.
Somebody who makes 6 figures, he's well respected among, other high value men. Like, when you hear high value man, who doesn't want that, right?
Do you want my opinion yet, or are we just going over his? Because
I'm just saying, because that's why the women call in, because it's like, well, you're talking about all these high value men, not all of them, but like that this should be the standard or the goal for men to attain. But like, I don't see them when I be dating. And so I think that's what the problem is. They'll call in and be like, I don't know that this exists. And so he'll flip it and be like, are you a high value woman though?
Yeah.
Because you seem to be average.
Ooh, before we get into me, let's do the high value woman. I want to hear what he calls a high value woman.
All right. So it's interesting. The high value woman, he says, is useful to a man. And so I guess that in Christian talk, I guess that would be a helpmate.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because I don't know what he means by that. So I'm trying to interpret based on my own understanding.
Okay. I'm not going to kill him for that one yet.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it first.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping he's not like, oh yeah, you're, a dog. Like, you do what I say. You say to stand. Yeah. I hope not. So then, of course, she has to be attractive and appealing.
Okay.
I like those words.
Attractive and appealing?
Yeah, because then it's not just looks. It's also like, what else are you offering? Like, what is your mind? Appealing, right?
Okay, yeah.
What do you think appealing is?
I don't know. You could go a lot of ways with that. Okay. Like, you could appeal to my, like, sexual, like, my desires. Oh. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily like, oh, look at that,
look at that brain.
Look at that intellect. Yeah. Oh, that's so appealing. Like, I don't know if that's where he was trying to go with it. I do feel like, especially from hearing him, appealing.
That ain't what he means.
Maybe more physical.
Okay.
Than.
Like you walk in and heads turn.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It desired, because I think that's the thing. Like, when something's appealing, it kind of means like you want it. So I still think he means something a little more physical. So yeah.
Probably. Since he's an image consultant.
Yeah. And he's Kevin Samuels, so.
He says a high value woman has a comforting character.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
What?
I have it's
like you're getting ready. Like
no. I have a lot of opinions. So I'm just trying to get through this. So
okay. Two more. It's 2 more things. She's disciplined.
Okay.
And she's discerning.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at it. I just think there are discrepancies within the 2 lists.
Yes.
It's very different things.
And that's what I was going to get to.
Okay, so go ahead.
All right. So there was like, I don't know if you remember, there was like this viral tweet, or it might have been where it's like, ask a man to describe a good woman and watch him describe a slave.
Okay.
And I'm reading some of this, and I just like, there's some of that like here, right? Where it's like, useful to a man.
That's crazy, ain't it? Don't that sound crazy?
Hey, I mean...
Am I useful to you?
Yes, you are.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so when I... Mm-hmm. If you're going to ask me...
Joking.
If you're useful to me, then yes, like... Because I think I understand what he's saying, right? Like, even if you did not work, you are useful in the way that you manage the household, the way that you care for us.
I have a comforting character.
Yeah, you got a comforting character. See, because that's in typical Kevin Samuels fashion. Like, I don't disagree with all of it. Yeah, I don't disagree with all of it. It's just the order of importance that he puts things in.
Yeah.
And...
I don't know if there's a order in particular. Okay.
But when you listen to him, you definitely hear him reiterate certain things more than others. Yeah. I find issue with, and like you said, like, he puts a lot of onus on women. Because he does put a lot of onus on women on things aside from their looks. Yeah. That he doesn't put on men. And I kind of know why. Like, he's very... I'm not going to say he's necessarily chauvinist. He might be chauvinist. But he tries to push back a lot of the... Because a lot of time the narrative is like, you know, it's the guy. And he puts on like, what did you do wrong, though? Yeah. Which I appreciate. Yeah. It's a necessary component, but he doesn't do enough of the other one. Like for the guys... Nothing in his qualifications for high value have to do with character. They're all
money,
status, or finance. Like, all that is good. But if I were to, like, even aside from just being like in the dating scene, I think as a guy, your character matters a lot. So especially in the dating world where, you know, people want some things like faithfulness, and we're not. This
the
is
dating scene that you're used to.
Fair, because one of the things that I do notice a lot on his show, which I guess we'll get into, is like when he asks women what they want, a lot of it feels like a business transaction.
Yes. So okay, so he'll ask, I don't know. Give me like a... How does he start it off? Because it doesn't usually start off with them. It'll start off with like, what do you want?
Yeah, it'll start off with ask like, you know...
Or he'll say like, okay, how old are you? Mm-hmm. Let's say the girl says, I'm 31. Okay?
Danger zone.
Yes, he says that there is a such thing as a danger zone. Does it start at 27 or 30?
I can't remember what age, but...
Let's say it's 30 to 35.
Yeah.
If you're still single... So anyway, in this example, let's say she's 31. He says, do you have kids? Let's say she has one. Mm-hmm. He goes, do you want more kids? Mm-hmm. She'll say, I want one more. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then he'll say, do you plan on working?
Do you plan on paying any significant bills
after you have kid,
child,
right?
Yeah, after you have children.
And that's when the woman tends to fall off. And yep. I'm just like, I need you guys to know your answers. Because do you not watch the show? Like, he's coming for you.
Yeah. He's setting you up. At this point, he's setting you up.
So at this point, the women will be like, I don't mind working. And he'll say, do you want to work? Yeah. It's a yes or no question. Yeah. Most people would say no.
It's true.
Nobody wants to work. Period. Why would you want to work after you have the kid, right? Yeah. Anyway, I mean, most women do, you know, some women do want to work. Mm-hmm. But he's asking for, like, your dream scenario at this point. Yes. So dream a little on this Zoom call, right? Okay. So then she'll say, or some of them will say, like, I don't mind contributing, like, 30%, 40%. And then some say no. Okay, so let's say this person says no. She's 31, she has a kid. She doesn't want to work after she has her next kid. Then he'll say... Oof. Sorry. Go ahead. Where is the kid's father? Right?
Yeah, he'll get into that.
He'll get into that. What happened to that relationship? Oh, you know, he wasn't marriage material. but he was having a kid material. How did you, like, he'll go in and, like, he goes in.
And with the sound effects. I love the sound effects, but keep going.
I hate it. And so she'll say, yeah, we were together, 5 years. And then he'll say, when did you know he was not marriage material?
Yeah,
year
like,
1 or year 5?
He'll dig into your relationship in a way that it's hard sometimes.
But these are real things.
There are, right? And that's why I like it. Like, he'll ask questions that, in hindsight, it's like, you know that you're walking down a path where it's like, yeah, I missed the signs, but he's like putting it in front of you.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you were in a fair relationship and you were in the search for 10 years, like, at what point did you know?
Right.
And if you're like, oh, year 6, and he's like, so you wasted 4 years of your life? And you're like, yeah, all right, keep going. And like it's just, okay, just wanted to know. Like
the latest one we watched, it was, I guess this woman going through a divorce, but they're basically living as though they're divorced. She moved out to another state and everything. Before they got married, her now ex-husband cheated on her.
Okay.
And had a baby on her with someone else. And then, but apparently, like, that woman was like a drug addict or something. So she was raising the baby with him. That was her son, basically. And then during the marriage, they had a baby girl. So, family of 4 now. And then I guess he cheated on her again multiple times. He didn't cheat on
her the first time. He had the baby right before they started dating.
No, they were dating. She said they were dating.
Oh, so maybe right before they got married then he had the baby? Because the baby happened before.
It was before they got married. Yeah. But while they were dating.
That's tough.
Okay. Maybe for like 3 months. They were dating for like 3. It's something short.
All right.
So anyway, now they're a family of 4. And apparently throughout their marriage, he had been cheating on her, whatever.
Yeah.
So then they got a divorce.
She moved away.
She moved away to another state. And so he was asking her, well, already it's like he cheated on you before y'all got married. Yeah. And you chose.
And he'll like bring it up like, and you still married him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Correct. And then he's like, what about the son that you was raising with him? And like, is he in the state with you? Or he's with his dad? Like, what's going on? So obviously it's like she's with the daughter, and then now the ex-husband is with the son. And so now he's saying, well, you broke up your family.
And that's where I was offended, right? And I think a lot of these people, maybe because it's on the spot, they don't have the language to go back and forth with him, but it is unfair, to say the least. If you blame the woman who was cheated on for breaking up the home when she decided to move after the divorce, and that's where he loses me.
I do agree that she should not have moved to another state. Number one, because you have children with this guy, and they both need
you risk that father. For blue, like you.
Okay, but here's the thing: Beyonce got money to fly Blue out to wherever she
understood.
Needed to go.
But it's like these are things that you, as from a guy, right? And if I'm just in this situation, just thinking like, is it my fault that she moved? Like, if I didn't cheat, she would still be here. So it's hard. It's hard for me to dictate the situation.
I'm not blaming her for breaking up the family. He cheated.
You don't control her reaction after.
I think they're both dumb. You cheated on your wife, and you married a man who cheated on you before he was your husband. So like, hello, what are we doing? So anyways, he gets into all of that. Yeah. But I think the main point that I kind of want to focus on is the fact that he does pay closer attention to the woman's appearance than like a man's character even, right? Like we discussed.
Yeah. And he even goes like farther than a woman's appearance. And like these are the points where I disagree with him, where he starts to say like, if a woman calls in and says she's a nurse, he's like, oh, red flag.
Yeah, I'm like, why?
It's because of what he thinks of women. So he assumes that a career-focused woman has because he calls it like this modern woman thing, like, where a woman who seems to be more career focused is less likely to be submissive to her husband. Like, he assumes that these women are more headstrong, whatever, I got my own money, and that to him lowers your value, or he just thinks it's harder for you to be in a relationship, a successful relationship, because you have such a high value of self. And one of, I'm saying, because, I mean, one of his things is like, for women, for high value women, at least from what I've heard, it seems to be you are very much reliant on your husband. If you rely on yourself a lot, he kind of like downplay, like, it's women who call in like, oh, I'm a PhD, and he's like, oh.
Yeah.
Because he feels like women who are PhDs feel like they deserve certain things.
Yeah.
And I think there's a question, is like, do you deserve certain things based on whatever your status, like how much money you make, your level of education, or even looks, like, he gives looks as a reason to think you're deserving, but like, what do you think about that? Like, people who feel like I deserve to be with, or why can't I want to be with a guy who makes 6 figures if I make 6 figures? Like, that's a point of contention for him a lot on the show.
Yeah. Well, because he'll say, like, men don't care about how much money you make. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
You agree that men don't care about how much money you make?
Yeah, I think most men don't really care how much money one makes. I'm not gonna say all men. I won't go that far.
When it all goes to the pot.
If you were to do like a random poll on men, most men would tell you, kind of like how when he asked the women, would you want to pay any significant bills after you have children? Mm-hmm. And they say no. Most men, if you ask them, would you want your wife to pay any significant bills after giving birth to your children? They'll tell you no, because most men feel like they want their wife at home with the kids, and it gives them, like, most men assume that at some point they'll be able to financially provide for the house on their own.
So here's what's funny to me, is that at the end of the day, it kind of sounds like, well, based on his content and his definitions, that this man does not really exist, or this lifestyle that you're want. Like, is this all satire? You know what I'm saying? Like, because he'll say, okay, so you want a family of 5. Mm-hmm. How much would it take to support a family of 5? Mm-hmm. And then he'll say like $350,000 in Atlanta, and I'm like, first of all, have you been to Georgia? Like, it's not gonna take $350,000. And how many people make $350,000 a year? Mm-hmm. Especially like most of his I would say his content is geared towards the blacks. Yeah. Yes. Like, we not making that. Like, unless you're like, an athlete making millions or whatever. The majority of us are not making that. How about that? Yeah. I'm sure people are, but the majority of us are not. So, and we know people with like 5 kids that I'm like, okay, y'all doing it. Like, yeah. Maybe it's not the way you want to, but
I think that's kind of one of the good things. I feel like,
is this all a joke?
Yeah, I think it is one of the good things though, right? So a lot of times people say that they want something, but then it's, have you considered how to attain it? Because they'll always ask women, like, you say you want a man that makes a certain amount of money. Do you know what occupations these men have that make that much money? And it's...
Yeah. Do you know where they are? Where they hang out?
Do you know how old they are when they tend to be making that amount of money?
Right.
I think one of the things that I agree with is that people need to... They have to be okay with growth, right? But on both sides. I think you have to be okay with what he calls a regular guy. If we're only looking for finished products, people who are already making a certain amount of money or like have a certain amount of status, it's not always there yet. Yeah. And going back to do men care about how much money women make? I would say no. Because this could be controversial, but...
Well, I know that you don't.
I don't what?
You don't care how much money I make.
Yeah, I don't. And I think a lot of men don't. But that's also...
like how you were raised, kind of.
Maybe that could play a part in it,
and it could be how I was. It is how I was raised too.
That could be part of it.
It was just kind of like, I mean, you do enough already. Like, we don't need you to bring in 6 figures.
Yeah, it's not necessary. Like, is 6 figures a great thing to have? Yeah, I would welcome my wife making 6 figures. It's not a necessity.
Yeah,
like. She doesn't lose points because she doesn't make 6 figures.
Right.
To me, it's just not one of those things on the sliding scale that tip it. Now, one of the things he talks about a lot, and it's something I don't agree with, but I understand, is how much looks tip the scale.
Okay, wait, before you go there, because I feel like we entering the Michel Matters.
Okay. I feel like we're already there. I feel like we did that already. Like, we on a roll.
But I forgot to answer your question, because you were like, do I think people, do I look at it as wrong if people think they deserve a partner who makes as much as... I get the concept of, like, you know, the thighs don't match. Like, you want somebody who, you know, is on your level, so to speak. I think, though, where Kevin Samuels brings up a good point is that the average black man in America makes like
$42,000,
$40,000 to $50,000 a year. So if you are clearly, as a black woman, if you're making 6 figures, you're above the average. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want your pool to be a little wider, you know, maybe consider how much can we make with 150 as a unit instead of, like, you know, this 2% pool where it's like we have to make 350 as a unit.
Yeah, it's
especially if this guy is gonna treat you right.
Yeah, based on his.
Do I think it's wrong to want someone who makes the same as you? No, I think that makes sense. And I think that's what a lot of us are taught to look for.
Yeah.
But again, when does finance even come to play in a relationship? You know what I mean? So you're going to spend like 6 months talking to a guy and then you're going to start dating, or I don't even know how long these things take anymore. But once you enter a relationship, while you're dating, you could be dating for a year and you still don't know how much this man makes. So, like, but you like him though. So what's wrong?
According to his reasoning, looks are to women what money is to men, right? So the more money you have, like, the wider your pool is of women to choose from. The more looks you have, or the better your looks are, the more men you have to choose from. But the separator is like, there are more, because when we start talking about, okay, the average man makes 40 to 50K, the average black man makes 40 to 50K. If you find a black man that makes more than 100K, you're talking about an outlier. No, don't unicorn. Don't do that. A lot of black men make.
I know. I'm just.
But saying. They're outliers. Like, the farther you start going out, the farther you start going out, you start finding it's less and less of these men. The thing about looks, there are going to be way more good-looking women than rich men. So men have more to choose from. So because men
apparently not on his show.
Well,
if Beyonce is an 8,
that's all. I'm not even gonna touch that today. So the thing is, because there are more good-looking women than rich men can be choosy. Pretty women can't be as choosy because you have less to choose from. So he always brings it in as like the women are at a disadvantage in the dating scene because men control relationships, and because men can be more choosy, you better get in line. Like, you gotta act right, you gotta be submissive. So I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying based on his reasoning, that's how dating goes. Yeah, men, we make the rules in the dating world
because y'all the choosers.
Because we're the choosers, and women kind of have to like fall into it, which I don't agree with.
So because now we enter in these levels, right? Mm-hmm. We're moving away from Kevin Samuels and entering the levels to dating. Okay. Because I feel like this is also seeping in to... Correct. The church space, just the dating space in general. It's not just on his show. Like, I feel like there are amazing people out here. Yeah. Right? But because of and I love the high confidence, the high self-esteem and all of that people have of themselves. This is great. But because of that, I think a lot of people fail to realize how many people are actually in their dating pool. Okay. Spectrum.
That's a good way to put it. It's better than I would have did. Okay. You did a way better job with
that. Because we find that a lot of people will not date somebody because of their looks or whatever. Whatever it is. But when you look at them side by side, and maybe I'm going to just say men, we'll find that men don't want to date women.
Do this the other way around, but keep going.
I find that women are way more open.
Because they have to be.
Okay. So.
It's a joke. That was a joke. And for the people listening, no. That was a joke. That was a joke. Keep going. Keep going.
I find that a lot of men won't want to date somebody because in their mind, maybe they're not saying that these are not high value women, right? But in their mind, they're saying, "Yeah, you're not on my level. Like,
I can do better.
I can do better." And then when the world looks at you, you are an average man
at best.
Stop. You are an average man because we didn't play the clip.
No.
But maybe we'll link it. You're an average man, and the person you're talking about is an average woman. I don't see the disconnect. Like, help me, because I'm like, this could be great for you.
Yeah. So.
And you passing up.
So one of the good things, so I have to go back again to Kevin. One of the good things that he does do is he kind of
promotes average people to be together.
Not just that, but sometimes you need to hold the mirror up to yourself, right? And he asks people, what do you rate yourself? Right? And
that's an interesting question every time he asks.
It is.
Because you would think most people would say, I'm a 9, I'm a 10.
Yeah.
With all this,
There's a self-awareness though. See, but there's a self-awareness that comes with this to gauge correctly. Yeah. And a lot of people don't necessarily have that self-awareness. Most people, I think, downplay themselves on the show because they know him and they know how he grades. So they don't put themselves maybe where they probably feel like they belong. Yeah. But in real life, if you catch somebody on the street, you rarely find people who put themselves at lower than a 7. And if you think you're at least a 7 and whatever, you maybe view someone else as lower than you, they're like a 6 or a 5.
On a scale from 1 to 10.
On a scale of 1 to 10. Then yeah, you may like, you fall out of my range. But y'all might be in the same range. You just have a higher view of self than you do of others. You judge others more harshly than you judge yourself. And it's like the self-awareness is key, I think, in starting this whole process. Like, if we're going to judge others, we have to be able to judge ourselves with that same rubric, that same metric.
So is that how you're saying people should gauge who's on their level, quote unquote.
I don't know what that means.
By
that's the thing. I don't know what that means. Yourself. What is your level?
I don't know.
That's the thing.
But I don't know. But we know enough people who are dating.
Okay. To
know that there are levels.
I think most men, when they say a woman is not like, they talk about looks.
Yeah. So then is that the level? Is that the only level?
See, because that's the thing, not to me, right? I'm very big on looks matter. I'm not going to front. Like when I ask someone, what do you look for in a woman? Don't tell me looks. That's a waste of time for me. I think looks.
That's just.
It's a given.
In there, yeah.
It's a given. But how I feel about looks, I think most people looks can change, like alter, but not like how people talk about, oh, they may gain weight one day, or I'm saying, right. If you get to know someone, right, they can start looking better in your eyes just because you see more than just their physical, like, I don't know, like you start to like, oh, I like her little crooked nose. Or you know what I'm saying? Like it's the things that you can tend to appreciate about someone. You actually get to know them versus like off that first glance.
Okay.
So I think looks cause you'll walk by sometimes, you'll see two people together like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Like.
I like his back knee.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I like how, she knock kneed or like whatever. Like you'll see two people together and, they do this to celebrities all the time. Like, especially like the guys, like, why her?
Yeah, but
right?
Celebrities, that's the whole
But no, I'm saying, because as I say, like, with good looking men or high men, it's like, why did you pick that woman? It's like, he may like her for reasons that I known her since high school. We're cool. So yes, I like her, her little stubby left toe or like the things that other people may not appreciate about someone, you can appreciate. Because whatever, you got to know them. I think that can.
There's the intimacy.
Yeah. Just in the same way, I think inversely, you can get to know someone and they start to look worse.
Oh. That's good. That'll preach well. I'm
saying. So I don't think, and this is all in range, I don't think looks should be like the
deciding factor.
Yeah, or it should be the instant disqualifier.
But it's what catches people's eye.
Correct. I don't go against it. I'm not saying you shouldn't have like whatever. You're always going to be attracted to certain things. But to say, I'm trying to do this correctly. So like to say, oh, I wouldn't even give so and so a chance without, seeing what that person is about.
Seeing what that person is about. What they look like.
This is tough because I'm trying to like make this very universal.
Okay.
I'm trying to make this very universal.
Okay. I would like to run an experiment.
Same. I love experiments.
But you hate this though.
Oh, okay. I think I know where you're going now.
You don't like matchmaking and stuff.
No, I hate that.
I don't like it either. Tried it, hated it. But I would like to run an experiment. And I guess this kind of correlates to the episode we did on Love is Blind, right? Mm-hmm. Do you need to see... I guess I'm not going to run the experiment because I'm done. The matchmaking days are over.
Yeah.
But if you're dating, if you are single and you are open to dating, how about this? Try this.
How about that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And tell me how this goes, how this works out for you. If somebody matches you with somebody to go on a date, do not look them up on Instagram, right? And tell me, no, seriously, don't look nothing up. Like, especially if it's somebody you know and trust hooking you up. Clearly, this is not some person who's going to kill you, who's going to, steal your wallet. Like,
yeah.
This is somebody, it's like, okay, if this is a person of noble character telling me about another person of seemingly noble character, don't even Google them and meet them wherever they are and see how it goes. Because I feel like people will go and Google and make up this whole story of the person, and they don't even know. You don't know nothing still. Like, you Google facts, possibly, but you still don't know anything about the person.
So, okay, I want to challenge a little bit, right? And this is me challenging my own thoughts at the same time.
I don't feel like that should be like, oh, I need to know everything about this person. I need to see where they've traveled to on their Instagram and like see if they're on my level. Like, just have a conversation
in your own,
and then tell them to pay for their own sandwich.
In your own mind or experience, right? Are there some people you would not go on a date with based on looks? Because at what point? Because I think that there is at some point where it's like,
I think if
it's
my
okay.
friend is setting me up, I would trust that.
You would try it. Okay. So you wouldn't be okay if it was just a random. Like if a random guy on the street came to you, and even if it was the right way, but he just, I don't know, it just doesn't fit your
expectations.
Just your preference of person.
But what's like, I guess when people say they have a preference, do they have a face in mind? Because
it could be a lot of things.
You could say, okay, I like, dark hair, or I like a tall guy, or an average height guy, or whatever build, or like whatever.
But are there some like physical no-nos, like, no, he can't be shorter than me? Is like that automatic disqualifier?
I don't think so. I've never run into that problem.
You never run into a guy that's shorter than you that liked you?
No.
Oh. This is
not that I know of.
Like, this is something I wish we
experienced.
No. I mean,
like outside of middle school, no.
But even in life. So like, you were in New York, single. It's $1 bill.
Yeah.
Like, I'm assuming that guy tried to talk to you. Whatever.
They weren't short though.
They weren't short, right? But why didn't you give them a chance besides
because
the obvious?
I was still talking to you.
Not the whole time.
Not the whole time. I was on my own thing. Like, I wasn't trying to date for real. Okay. Literally. That's why. But, okay. Okay. So, we talked about various people on our dating episode. I'll link it if I remember. And I just felt like this particular guy was corny to me.
Okay.
And was trying.
Because I introduced you to Real? Is that why you thought he was? No?
And was just trying too hard.
Okay.
You get me?
Yeah, trust me.
Like, we're out
but
with
look-wise.
a group of... Look-wise, he wasn't terrible.
Okay.
It's just... You corny. Like, I don't know.
So that played a bigger factor than how you looked.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to talk for most women, but I think personality has a lot it plays a lot for women. Like,
yeah.
Maybe, corny is cute sometimes. It depends. Like, if you're like nerdy or something, that's cute.
Yeah.
But you're trying too hard to get at me, that's like, I need you to like show interest, but like, back up.
Yeah, because I wish it wasn't as true as it is, but at the same time, I do also understand that looks matter way more to men. I'm not saying whatever, it's the same level of importance for every guy, but there are, how like the money thing doesn't tip the scale on whether like what a woman's rate is in a guy's mind. Like, okay, she makes $100K, but she still like looks beat. Like, you know what I'm saying? To other men, I'm not talking about myself. I don't use these terms. I was speaking this way.
When you say beat, you mean like not
doesn't look
beat.
good. Yeah,
okay.
Come on. But whatever. So it's. So I had the conversation with my brother, and I don't mean throw him under the bus, but if a guy, like, we always talk about howevers, like I'm careful. Let's talk about like howevers, like, Like in the Biggie when he says like fat, black, ugly as ever. However,
stay Gucci down.
Yeah, guys are allowed to have a lot more howevers.
It's just money. How you get the Gucci? You purchase.
You can laugh your way into a relationship. You can laugh. All right. You can personality your way into a woman.
Okay.
Right?
At first.
There's very few women that I think like are allowed to personality their way into a relationship. It happens, whatever, but guys are able to do it more than women. Women, you just, for a lot of guys, it's about whether you're cute or not. I'm not saying I agree with it. I think it's an unfair standard.
Is that all it is, though?
A lot of times it feels like it. I feel like that's the biggest barrier to most men in
I would agree.
Relationships, like starting relationships with women is just aesthetic.
I would agree.
It's looks.
And sometimes it's like that's all you need, right?
Yeah.
Like to some people. But then like she could be dumb.
I see guys with dumb girls all the time.
But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. I just want a good looking wife.
Yeah.
If marriage is your goal. That's it. Or a good looking girlfriend if you're not trying to get married.
I don't agree with it.
I don't get it.
I don't agree with it. I do know that is how a lot of people think. And yes, should we re-engineer our minds, like men's minds? I think that, yes, more men should reevaluate that slider, like how that works for them as far as like looks compared to personality, compared to like whatever, these other features. Features, I guess a car or something. But like, yeah, I think that needs to happen. How does it happen? I don't know. Mm-hmm.
And most women need to not only look for
the bag.
I didn't want to use the word that you wrote.
Yeah.
But okay, the bag. Donations, if you will. Oh,
yeah. I said sponsor. Because that's what's prevalent in the culture today. Yeah. Is, get a guy who can pay your bills, who can cash app you money, who can do all these things. Like, yeah, that's not
the point.
That shouldn't be the point, right? We need to re-engineer our minds. Like, more than likely, you're going to need 2 incomes to make it. Accept that.
Yeah, it's 2021.
Embrace it. It's life.
I mean, it's not life. It wasn't always this way.
It wasn't, but times have changed.
Yes, times have changed.
Cost of living has changed. People's wants and desires have changed.
Yeah. Especially if it's like, okay, I mean, with women, you also have to look at like, a lot of us are going to college.
Yeah. More than men, more than black men for sure.
And then there's this point in life where it's like, so why did I go? If like, I'm not going to use my degree, I'm just going to stay home with my kids. Not just going to stay home with my kids. I don't want to downplay that. But like, you have to, the woman is going to have interests. And sometimes that interest is to make some money and to use her degree and to use her skills in a way, that doesn't solely depend on you.
Yeah.
And it's going to look different for everybody. But I don't know.
It's a lot.
I feel like dating is one of those things today that and people will talk to me and I'm just like, I just don't even.
You know me, I don't got the bandwidth.
I don't want to talk about this.
I'm glad I don't got to pick a wife out of this group.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the group.
It's not. It is the group only because of the collective mindsets.
I think the group of women matches the group of men. So like they picking each other out of the same group.
Fair.
I don't have whatever. But I feel like things are overcomplicated. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
I think for me that to end like just my overall thoughts on this grading scale, this dating thing, like like I said, men and women. Yeah, it's the things that we value should change. I think we need to re-engineer our minds for that. And for these women that are maybe watching these Kevin Samuels videos or, are conflicted, like, is he right? Yes and no. You have to, these things still work on your own personal terms. Like, don't let nobody shame you into being with somebody who you don't feel compatible with. But then it's always like, you have to ask yourself, if you don't want to be with somebody, why, right? Is it all superficial? Is it all like, materialistic things that make you not want to be with somebody or feel like you're better than somebody? Yeah. But at the same time, like, value your education, value your career, but does it make you, it doesn't make you better or worse than someone else, in my opinion. That's just, kind of my thoughts on the grading scale, right? What things make us higher or lower on the grading scale, and what we put people down for. We just need to re-engineer, rethink about it, rethink your preferences. Why do you feel like you need a tall man, or you feel like you need, 'cause I'm tall, a baddie, or you know what I'm saying? Like yeah. Why? What in the grand scheme? In the grand scheme. Like, think about all that. So. Yeah. All right. All right. All right, so time for the business spotlight. Okay. And we've been home, so obviously I've been kind of doing some redecorations here and there. Not much, but like little touches and getting rid of stuff. And so I just kind of want to make this a more, I don't know, creative space. I feel like our house is pretty creative looking. Yeah. Pinterest board. But the outside, since we like redid the driveway, I was like, okay, let's do something to the outside. So I put like some plants out there, and we got a new doormat. There you go. Is that what it's called? Yes. I was like, why are you struggling? Yeah, we got a new doormat, and so that is the business that we are spotlighting. And we got the doormat from Swag Mats, and they're a Black Miami-owned business. Let's go talk about it. Yeah. And it says Black owned. Yeah. Because our house is Black owned. There you go. Yeah, I thought it was cool. We were looking at a whole bunch. Yeah. Went through a whole bunch of different stores, and we were like, Jackie's the one who found it. I was like, no, because we found the same I forgot doormat. Oh, the same one, the same design on another site for cheaper. Yeah, they were both on Etsy. Yeah, but Jackie ended up going with Swag Mats because it's Black on, and then she was from Miami, so I was like, dang, and it was better quality. That's than true. The other mat. A lot of the reviews were for the other mat was saying like, oh, don't let it rain, and I'm like, first of all, it's outside. Yeah, like it's going to rain. So don't just, when you're looking, don't just buy the cheapest one you can find. This one seems to be really good quality. Yeah. Looks good. So yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was a great choice. Yeah. And we'll post it, I guess, the finishing look. Okay. On our Instagram and tag the business. Yeah. Like we do. Yeah. So I liked it. I really liked that one. Yeah. That's the business. Okay. Yeah. I appreciate another good episode. I think so. Yeah. You guys sound off. Let us know what you think. Yeah, definitely. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Okay. Yeah. Watch it on YouTube. Even though I never watch it on YouTube. Watch it on YouTube. Don't be like me. Be better than me. Yeah. So. Watch the stuff that I edit. Okay. I put time and effort in. Yeah, you heard her. All right, y'all. Bye. See ya. When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That you might work, ayy. When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That you might work, ayy. That you might work. That you might work.